So here we are, 10 months later. 10, 11 months. Lipstick on my teeth, maybe. It's that kind of day. It's that kind of time in the world. So yeah, I am back. I've been like just agonizing over what kind of video I could make for my third video 10 months later. But it just kind of is what it is, you know? So I'm still here. I'm still doing videos. I have a lot of ideas. Just quick recap on life. You know, life has been crazy for everybody, for some more than others. With Black Lives Matter, with COVID, it's been a turmoil. So just trying to find some form of rhythm and some form of normalcy during this time, while also trying to stay aware and not avoidant of the issues happening in the world. It's a pretty difficult balance, I think, for most of us to have, for some more than others, especially for the Black community who have to deal with the injustices that they face every single day. I stand with you in solidarity. I think it's very important for all of us to say this, right? And just trying to find, like I said, some form of normalcy in all of this is very important, because your mind can get very boggled up with everything that's happening. And it kind of induces this paralysis because you're so overwhelmed with information or with things happening in the world that you're just not able to move on. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. You know, instead of thinking so much, actually taking action is what helps. It's pretty much the only thing that helps this feeling, right? So I just wanted to talk about some of the books that I've been reading or that I will be reading later on. And yeah, just let's talk about some books and then resume life, right? So I've been really into, I'm looking at my books here. I've been really into writing as of late, especially poetry. So I love poetry. One of my favorite authors is Marie Cancio Bello. Where is my book? I had a book. Give me a second. I had a book. I was reading it yesterday. One second. Somewhere in this bag is my favorite poetry book, believe it or not, because otherwise I would have it out, right? Here we go. Yeah, it's from Marci Calabreta Cancioello. It's called The Hour of the Ox. I don't think I've talked about it before, but this is my favorite book of poetry. She is an amazing, amazing, amazing poet. And I think this is like my fourth time rereading this poetry collection. It is absolutely beautiful. It's about immigration. It's about losing a sibling at a really young age. It's about the challenges of being a first generation immigrant and that kind of disconnect from the parents, but still also being very, very intertwined with them. It's a beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. The imagery she makes is out of this world, man. It's beautiful. You should check it out. It's great. So I was reading that yesterday. And in terms of writing, I have been meaning to pick up one more time this book that I read during my sophomore year of university for a poetry class. It's called The Verbal Icon, Studies in the Meaning of Poetry by W.K. Wimsatt. And this is such a pretentious book. Like, he is such a pretentious writer. To be fair, this was written in like 1953. 1953. So I get it. But at the same time, it makes it a little bit difficult to go about the book. I don't remember much about it because, like I said, I read it in my freshman year, sophomore year of university. But I like this book because it's divided in two parts. I remember it being very helpful. It's divided in two parts. Like, one part of the book, the beginning part, is all about the mechanics of poetry, with different styles and how to go about it. It shows you a lot of examples. It's very good. And a lot of personal opinion by this dude. And then the second half of the book is actually interpreting poetry. So I think maybe this, Studies in the Meaning of Poetry, makes you think that the whole book is about interpreting poetry, but it's also a lot about the mechanics, which I really enjoy. So I've been reading this again, And then for just writing in general, I've been reading this book my friend lent me like years ago, man. It's called Sin and Syntax, How to Craft Wickedly Effective Prose by Constance Hale. Yeah. So this is all about structuring your stories, what to use, what not to use kind of things. You know, very giving you some guidelines with giving you a lot of freedom, you know? So I've been reading that. Then I will pick up Love by Toni Morrison. I recently finished reading Tar Baby. No, not recently. Months ago, I read Tar Baby, and I bought at the same time Love, because I haven't read this by her. And I don't really remember what this is about. Let's see. In life, Bill Cosby enjoyed the affections of many women who would do almost anything to gain his favor. In death, his hold on them may be even stronger. Wife, daughter, granddaughter, employee, mistress, as Morrison's protagonists stake their furious claim on Cosby's memory and estate, using everything from intrigue to outright violence, she creates a work that is shrewd, funny, erotic, and heart-wrenching. Basically everything you want in a story. This sounds great. I can't wait to read it, and it's pretty short. But Toni Morrison's writing is just so, I put it like Marcy, that the writing that they do, the images they can invoke in your mind are so powerful, so intense, that these two, and it's, you know, the OG, they write stuff that is just, that has you sitting back, right? And just, you need a moment. You need like 5 minutes to put the book down and think about it, which is beautiful. I am rereading Good Sex, Feminist Perspectives from the World's Religions. I read this also in university for one of my classes, and I loved it. It's pretty much essays from different women of different races, sexualities, and religions all around the world. I really enjoyed this book because the writers, if they're white and cis, are very, very, very upfront about it. They tell it to you like right from the beginning. And they say the contingencies that can happen when people like them are the ones that are writing these narratives. So they try to either include other people of different backgrounds and religions and sexual orientations, even sex, and or link or show you resources where you can read their perspectives. So I think this is a pretty well-balanced book overall, and it's fantastic. I love reading about sex. I love reading about religion. I love reading about feminist perspectives from all these. So I think this is a great book. I love it so much, and it's beautiful. And then the last book that I am currently trying to get through to practice my Spanish more, because I am Cuban, born and raised, and I read Spanish as well as write it and everything. And the last time I went to Cuba, I got this book from my family. It's called Mitología Cubana, so Cuban mythology. And I think Cuba is such a conglomerate of spaces and of people that sometimes the stories are so intertwined because they had to be, for the most part. I don't remember the actual term for it, but especially with religion, when Black people were brought over for slavery, sadly, their religion, the Yoruba religion, the Orishas, were pretty much outlawed. And so in order for them to be able to keep practicing their religion, they had to mix it in with Catholicism. I really forgot there is one specific word. So when you say, for example, Saint Barbara, Santa Barbara, in Cuba, you're also referring to Shango in the Orisha and Yoruba religion. So I think that's beautiful. Also, I think even before slavery, Cuba was an indigenous area. So there were Tainos, the same as in Puerto Rico. You also have the Taino natives that lived there. And all of their stories, we don't hear stories from the Tainos. We don't hear about that really. It seems like that's kind of an afterthought, sadly. And in Mitología Cubana, it's by Samuel Fejo. They really do go into some Taino stories, which is very good. Culture should be kept alive, whatever it is. So I'm very excited to read. I pretty much only skimmed this book because it's very old and very beat up. I'm kind of afraid to touch it, but I think these stories are beautiful and important. And just by the titles alone, like for example, Madre de Aguas con voz de violín, mother of waters with a violin voice. Like, what does that mean? You know? But I'm very excited to read it, and I absolutely love it. I try to keep my culture with me as much as I can and as alive as I can. So, yeah, I really enjoy having this piece of actual home with me because, you know, I got this from my family in Cuba, and it just makes me feel nice just to even look at it. It makes me feel happy and closer to them. So yeah, those are all the books that I have either read, am reading, or will read. And I'll get back to you guys on how that is. Stay as safe as possible during these times. Remember social distance. Remember to wear your mask where you go. It's not an inconvenience. It's for the safety of everyone. Black lives matter, as they always have and always will. And be as good to each other as you can. The world's pretty crappy as it is. So just do the best you can, okay? For others and for yourself. Be good to yourself. Bye, babes.